Welcome to Sairam Educational Channel. In this video, we will see the second part of carbon and its compounds lesson, CBSE NCERT 10th class. So, in the previous video, we have gone through carbon and its compounds. What is carbon? And bonding in carbon. We have seen that C4 minus and C4 plus. That means by losing the valence electrons of the carbon, it gets C4 plus. By gaining 4 electrons, it gets C4 minus, but both are unstable. So carbon overcomes this by sharing of electrons with other atoms, maybe the same carbon atom or other atom. So that bond we called it as covalent bond. And we have seen the simplest molecule which forms by the covalent bond is hydrogen gas, H2. These are the H2, these are the two electrons we showed. H and H are shared. This is Lewis dot structures we can call. So these dot structures clearly shows that hydrogens are shared by one lone pair of electrons, shared a pair of electrons. Similarly, we have also seen oxygen molecule, how it formed. Oxygen atom having 6 electrons in its outermost shell. Both two pairs are shared between both oxygens such that each gets 8 electrons. And also we seen nitrogen N2 triple bond forms because 3 pairs of electrons are shared between both nitrogens. So such bonds we generally call it as covalent bonds. So these covalent bonds are seen to have very strong bonds within the molecule, and intermolecular forces are weak. That means one molecule to other molecule, the forces between a molecule of, for example, N2, another molecule of N2. Those forces are called intermolecular forces. They are very weak because they are not having much dipoles. If similar atoms, if there is a dipole, then dipole-dipole interaction comes into picture. We will see all these things. And now up to that we have seen this. So these electrons dot structure generally will ask. For example, methane electron dot structure was given here. You can see here carbon in its outermost shell, 4 electrons. Those cross X's are 4 electrons of carbon. Hydrogen having one electron. So together this CH4 is formed. You see the carbon also exists in nature in different forms with different physical properties. The physical properties vary a lot. For example, if you can take the diamond, it is a carbon, and the pencil, what we use, the graphite in the pencils, it is also carbon. If you can compare these two, one is very hard, very costlier, precious, that is diamond. Another is graphite, available readily, very cheap, and very soft. And it has a luster nature. If you touch it, will also stick to us. So the difference because of the bonding between the carbons in that particular structure. For example, if you can see the diamond structure where each carbon is bonded to 4 other carbons. You can see this carbon 1, 2, 3, 4 carbons it was bonded. But if you can see the graphitic structure, it is a layered structure. In each layer, each carbon is bonded to 3 more carbons and it forms a hexagon. Like this hexagonal array, it forms and each one placed one over the other. This is one plane, then another one, then another one, then another one. Like this, it will be placed. And the this is carbon is having now 3 bonds. Then we can ask how the valence is satisfied. Carbon should have 4. So one of the bond could be a double bond. One bond is a double bond such that it can satisfy its octet of electrons or valency. So graphite structure is formed by the hexagonal array being placed in layers one above the other. These two different structures result in diamond and graphite having very different physical properties. But even though their chemical properties are the same, both are carbon. If you burn, they both will burn. Both will convert to carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide in trains of air. But some are hardest, like your diamond is very hard, Graphite is very smooth and slippery. And graphite is also a good conductor of electricity. We use in electrical conductivity several alloys electrodes. But no, most of the non-metals are not conductors, but graphite is a non-metal. It is electrical conductor. Diamond, it is naturally forms because of high pressures in the earth crust. Sometimes it forms, and also we can be synthesized. It can be synthesized by subjecting pure carbon to very high pressures. You take the pure carbon and give it high pressure and high temperature, then the structure can become very rigid like diamond. So these synthetic diamonds also look similar to the natural diamonds. And another important carbon allotrope is the C60 fullerene. These are called fullerenes. It looks like a football or basketball. You can see here. Buckminster fullerene. This is the C60. These are another type of carbon allotropes. You can see the full picture here. And the first one which was identified is C60, where 60 carbons arranged like a football, shape of a football. Since this looked like a domes which was designed by architect Buckminster Fuller in US, he designed several buildings like geodesic domes, a dome shape, and these also looked similar to that, so those are called as Buckminster Fullerene. So these are the ways we can able to learn. These are additional information allotropes. Now we will see the very important concept of carbon. As I told in the previous video, I told that carbon forms a huge number of compounds. Why this carbon having the capacity of forming a huge number of carbon compounds with different atoms like hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen on its own atom carbon. And that's why in the chemistry you have a lot of carbon compounds. So carbon we separately studies. These huge number of compounds carbon forms because of two factors. That versatile nature of carbon is due to two factors. One is catenation of the carbon, another is tetravalence. Remember, very important question. One is catenation of carbon, another property is tetravalence. What is catenation? Catenation is the ability to form bonds with the other atoms of carbon. That means similar atoms. For example, if I take a carbon as an atom, it has the ability to form bonds with same carbon atoms on its own carbon atoms, and it can continue the chains to a large extent. Like polymers, if you can take thousands of carbon atoms are linked one to one to one to, so that property is called as catenation. So the unique ability to form bonds with other atoms of carbon giving rise to a large molecules, this property is called catenation. If I have a large compounds, the carbons are linked, they can link one to one, that is a straight chain, long chains of carbon, or they can link branched in between. You can have a branches like this. For example, if I take a carbon here, another carbon here, another carbon, another carbon, another carbon, like this, it can go a straight chain, or it can have a branch over here and it will continue another way. So one more branch can be here like this. So these are the branched chain of carbons, one straight chain of carbon, and they can have single bonds. Sometimes they may be having double bonds, sometimes it can be having a triple bond. Clear? So carbon is having all these type of bonding arrangements, linkages. So the carbons which are linked only by single bonds, we will see in the next, but they now you remember they are called as saturated carbon compounds. Why the saturated, we will see few more minutes later. So they are called as saturated carbon compounds. That means all the carbons are single bonds. Carbon carbon is having only single bonds. The linkage is through the single bonds. Only one bond, that is one shared pair of electrons. Then they are called as saturated compounds. Compounds of carbon having double triple bonds are called unsaturated compounds. Remember, one is saturated compounds, another is unsaturated. Cis is single bond containing compounds are called saturated carbons compounds, and double bond or triple bond containing are called unsaturated. What is double bond? Two bonds between carbon carbon. Three bonds between carbon carbon is called triple bond. And this catenation property, if you can see out of these periodic table of elements like 118 or elements, the carbon is the only one forms catenation to a large extent, huge number of atoms. To some extent, silicon forms with hydrogen, but the chain is not so much big. It may have 7 or 8 atoms together. And those silicon compounds are very reactive, but carbon compounds are not that much reactive. They are very less reactive. And that means they are very strong and stable. Carbon compounds are very strong and stable. Because of the strength, because of the stability, they exist in the nature and they form huge number of compounds. That's why we could see a large number of compounds of carbon surrounding us. That is one property called catenation. Carbon is also having valency of 4, tetravalency it is called. That means it is capable of forming bonds with 4 other atoms of the same carbon or atoms of other monovalent elements like H is a monovalent, chloride, bromide, correct? These are all monovalent elements. Such elements, even it can form bonding. So that means it can have 4 bonds with 4 different atoms to satisfy its valency. That's why carbon having tetravalency. So it can form a more number of bonds. Compounds can be formed with oxygen. It may not be tetravalent, but it can have a double bond with carbon. Or single bond with carbon and one more bond with another atom. So carbon can form bonds with oxygen. We have a lot of oxygen containing carbon compounds. Alcohols, ketones, aldehydes, acids, ethers, esters. There are different compounds. All comes under the name of organic chemistry. And another carbon can form hydrogen. Everywhere hydrogen is must. We have a lot of hydrogens with carbon. And you have nitrogens with carbon, amines, amides. There are a lot of compounds. And also with sulfur, with chlorine. You see there are huge number of compounds carbon can form with different atoms. You see in the previous case we also missed one because of the catenation. The catenation can also be like straight chain or branched chain. It can also be like a ring, like a cyclic chain. Carbon can form a rings like this like a cyclic compounds. So these are cyclic compounds. Like here 4 carbons are there. Sometimes we can have 6 carbons like a hexagon. So these are the different ways carbon linkages. So because of these two versatile natures, versatile properties, because of these two specific properties, carbon shows a different behavior called versatile behavior. And that property one is catenation, another one is valency. Again, the bonds which forms the carbon with most other elements are very strong, making these compounds stable. Because they can ask why the carbon forms a strong bonds. You can see the carbon atom is a smaller atom. Carbon atom is smaller atom. That means the bonded pair of electrons are nearer to the carbon nucleus. That means the nucleus is having a positive charge with which holds the electrons strongly. So that's why the smaller atom enables the nucleus to hold the shared pair of electrons strongly. If the shared pair of electrons are held strongly by the nucleus, the bonds are very strong. So the bonds formed by the elements having bigger atoms are much weaker. Because the atom size is bigger, the nucleus is far away from the little away from the bonded pair of electrons, so the holding nature of the nucleus is lesser. So this is the way the carbon shows versatile behavior. As I told, organic compounds, the chemistry which deals about organic compounds, which contains mainly the carbon compounds. Tetravalency and catenation put together give rise to a large number of compounds for the carbon. Many have the same non-carbon atom or some group of atoms attached to different carbon chains like oxygen, nitrogen. Previously, initially these compounds, they found that they are only present in natural substances. And they thought that there is some vital force, some god, something making such compounds. And they found that they only exist in the living systems. But later it was disproved by Frederick Wohler in 1828 by preparing urea in laboratory, that is from ammonium cyanate. He made urea, synthesized urea from ammonium cyanate in laboratory and disproved that these carbon compounds can be made in lab, but they are not someone is making, they are not like a vital force is making. So all these we study under organic chemistry, carbon compound. Now comes to the important point, as I previously told, saturated and unsaturated carbon compounds. What is saturation? You can consider this understand with the analysis that, for example, if someone wants to have 1 kilo of sweets, he likes to eat 1 kilo of sweets because he fond of sweets, he wants to eat a kilo of sweets. If we provide the kilo of sweets to him, then he will be satisfied very well. Similarly, if the carbon having a tetravalency, correct? That means carbon should have 4 more electrons to satisfy its octet. If the carbon valency, that is tetravalency, if it is satisfied by 4 atoms, then it is a saturated compound. Because it can have maximum 4 atoms to bond with. Those are univalent atoms. Clear? If you are providing those 4 atoms to bond with, allowing the carbon to have the bonds with 4 different atoms, because it is having tetravalency, if 4 atoms, if you are providing to the carbon to have bonding, then that carbon, the such compounds formed because of those bonds are called saturated compounds. Like the sweet, he wants 1 kilo sweet, we have provided 1 kilo sweet, so he is very happy, so satisfied. That means carbon only forms what bonds now? Single bonds. You see here carbon with this hydrogen one single bond, with this hydrogen another single bond, this hydrogen another single bond here, dots are the hydrogen electrons. And with another carbon it formed another bond, you see. C bond. It is also single bond, one pair of electrons. That means this carbon now satisfied its octet and got its valency by all single bonds. So carbon single bond, the link is between carbon single bond, carbon hydrogen obviously single bond. So these are saturated hydrocarbons, saturated compounds. Hydrocarbons, the term comes because hydrogen carbon containing compounds are hydrocarbons. Their general formula C and H only will be there. CnH2n plus 2, CnH2n, CnH2n minus 2. There are different ways of compounds. We will tell all those things future while going. So here this same compound was represented here. CH3. This is ethane. So they will ask write the electron dot structure of ethane. This is the electron dot structure of ethane. First we need to know what is ethane. That is C2H6. C2H6. That means 2 carbons are linked by a single bond and each carbon is having 3 more hydrogen atoms. First we need to write this. Then you convert each bond into 2 electrons. That's what done here. H, 1 electron of hydrogen, 1 electron of carbon here formed a bond between carbon and hydrogen. You see these 3 bonds. Total how many bonds are here? 7 bonds, 7 to the 14 electrons. You can see here 14 electrons. 6 hydrogen bonds and 1 carbon-carbon bond. So this is called as electron down structure. The circle represents that particular atom's contribution of electrons. For example, this hydrogen having now 2 electrons. This carbon is having this 2, this 2, this 2, this 2, total 8 electrons. Clear? So these are called as saturated hydrocarbons. Saturated hydrocarbons. So the carbon-carbon single bonds we can have, those are called saturated hydrocarbons. Similarly, we can write different saturated hydrocarbons. What we asked here, you see C3H8. We can also write for C3H8. If you can see here, the C3H8 can be written like this. Carbons are how many? 3. 3 carbons we have. And so you can take 3 carbons. 1, 2, and 3 carbon. C3H8, hydrogens are height. So you satisfy its valency 4. All are single bonds because you want now saturated hydrocarbon. That's why carbon-carbon I put single bonds. Carbon-carbon single bond, carbon-carbon single. Now how many hydrogens I can give here? 3 hydrogens here. 2, 5 plus 3, 8 hydrogen. So all these are hydrogens. So this is C3H8 molecule. This is C3H8, that is propane. What that compound name is propane. You see here for n carbons you will have hydrogens of 2n plus 2 hydrogens. 2 multiplied by n plus 2. So 2n plus 2. For example, if you can take C3, 3 carbons, hydrogens are 3 to the 6 plus 2, 8 hydrogens are there. So those are called as saturated hydrocarbons and those are called generally alkanes. What they are called? Alkanes. 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 Alkanes are CnH2n plus 2. That means you can also define saturated hydrocarbons where the carbon, if it is having n carbons, 2n plus 2 hydrogens if it is having, then that is saturated hydrocarbon. That is alkanes. Alkanes are saturated hydrocarbons. Here also you see C2H4. C2H4. This is not the complete compound because the octet is not finished. In order to finish the octet, they put a double bond here. Because it don't have hydrogens more to have bonding. It is having only 4 hydrogens and 2 carbons. Then what should we do? To satisfy the octet, the carbon 1 electron and another carbon 1 can be shared. Now I got a double bond, carbon-carbon double. That means you see, as the previous analogy where one guy wants sweets of 1 kilo, if we have given him, provided the sweets, then he was satisfied, he was happy, so it is saturated. If you have provided less, then it is unsaturated. Similarly here, each carbon should have 2n plus 2 hydrogens. But here, each carbon 2 carbons, 2n plus 2 means 6 hydrogens I should give. But I have given only 4 hydrogens to this compound. Since it has lack of hydrogens more, what it do? It does bonding with the same carbon one more time. So that's why these are called unsaturated hydrocarbons. These are called unsaturated hydrocarbons. That means a double bond between the 2 carbons tells us the compound is unsaturated. That means it satisfied its octet or valence by forming 2 bonds or 3 bonds with the carbon atom. Here it is 2 bonds. So it is ethylene or ethene. Ethene. How 2 bonds it got? That means 2 hydrogens are less. It should have 6 hydrogens. Now 2 hydrogens are less. So you can change this structure where these 2 can be removed. If you remove these 2, then this is the alkene. This is the unsaturated hydrocarbon. That means for n carbons you should have 2n plus 2 hydrogens, but here I have only 2n hydrogens. So this is now unsaturated hydrocarbon. So if this unsaturated hydrocarbon C and H2n are called alkenes. Alkanes, this is alkenes. Here you should have the E, alkenes. 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 So similarly, so this is the compound we can have. So you remember carbon-carbon double bonds are alkenes, carbon-carbon single bonds are alkanes, carbon-carbon single bonds are saturated hydrocarbons, carbon-carbon double bonds are called unsaturated hydrocarbon. I can also have alkynes. That means I can have a triple bond. We can come here and we can see the triple bond how we can form. Clear? So we will remove this and now we will see the triple bond. For example, if I have a carbon, one carbon here and another carbon here, I should give two carbons, total 6 hydrogens. Then 6 means carbon carbon single bond, remaining hydrogens will go 3 to the respective carbon. Then it is saturated. Second case, I have given 4 hydrogens. That time I got a double bond over here and two hydrogens here. So that we said unsaturated and it is alkanes. Now I have given only 2 hydrogens. That means 2 more hydrogens, I made it less. So I will have a triple bond and 2 hydrogens are here like this. 1 hydrogen here, 1 hydrogen here. Still the carbon is satisfied its valency. You can see the carbon is having 4 bonds now. 4 to the 8 electrons. That means octet of electrons it is having. So it satisfied its valency. But it satisfied its valency with its own atom, another atom. But it doesn't have the hydrogens. So these are once again called as unsaturated. These are called alkynes. What they are called? Alkynes. 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 Previously we have seen alkenes. Now alkynes both together are called unsaturated hydrocarbons because n number of carbons should have 2n plus 2 hydrogens, then it is saturated. If you are having less, they are unsaturated. So now for n carbons I have only less than 2n. If I have 2n, they are alkenes we told. Now here still 2 more electrons are less. So this is now CnH2n minus 2. You can see here carbons are 2. You put carbons 2. Then this is 4 minus 2, 2. Hydrogens also I am having 2. So these alkynes, these are called alkynes. And those alkynes are general molecular formula will be CnH2n minus 2. And alkenes we told double bond CnH2n molecular formula. Alkanes we told CnH2n plus 2. So you now came to know these 3 types of compounds. Even majorly there are other called as hydrocarbons where carbon and hydrogen only present. Hydrocarbons. And you can see that ethene or ethylene we call that double bonded compound. The previously we see the electron dot structure was given. You convert each bond into electrons, 2 electrons, and you circle properly such that the central carbon should have 8 electrons. You see this hydrogen, these 2 pair, these 2, 1 pair, 2 pairs, and here 2 pairs. Total 4 pairs, 8 electrons. And this carbon also having 8 electrons. Then each hydrogen will have only 2 electrons. So such a way the electron dot structure, this is Lewis electron dot structure can be shown. This is for ethylene. Ethine, C2H2, that is the molecule we have shown here, ethine. This is the ethine, alkyne or acetylene. The naming we will see when we have higher classes, or if it is there here we will see. So such a way we can able to understand the specific compounds. So in the next video we will see the other part. Thank you. Keep follows the videos and subscribe the channel for more videos. If you have doubts or clarifications required, please post your comments in the comments box below. Don't forget to subscribe the channel. Thank you.